Hey everybody, welcome back to the SuperBake podcast. I'm your host, Baker. Let's talk about stuff. Hey everybody, welcome back to the show. So today, going to give my reactions to two trailers I saw. One for the teaser trailer for the second season of Invincible, coming out on Amazon Prime, and the teaser trailer that has finally released for the new Exorcist film, The Exorcist Believer, coming out later this year. So first off, I'll just start with Invincible, because I kind of want to spend more time talking about The Exorcist trailer. But Invincible, it looks like a lot of the cast from the first season are returning, along with some big names coming this season. Stephen Yeun reprising his role as Mark, J.K. Simmons coming back as Omni-Man. It looks like the Seth Rogen, you hear his voice throughout the trailer, so he's coming back as Alan. I'm assuming a lot of the main casts from the first season are going to be in this one, at least based on what we saw in the teaser trailer. That's kind of what it looks like. It's a huge cast list, too. One thing that I was really excited about was that Peter Cullen, the voice of Optimus Prime, is going to be in this one, too. So that was really awesome. It looks like he's playing like some kind of Viltrumite, I'm guessing, some kind of Viltrumite elder in the trailer. So it kind of looks like they're hinting at the potential, some kind of war going on among the Viltrums, or the Viltrumites, so kind of curious how that's going to play out in this. I have seen bits and pieces of the original comic series, like on YouTube and stuff, so I know a little bit of what happens there, but not a whole lot. So I don't really know much of what's going to happen in this one. I assume we're going to see more of like what Omni-Man is up to after the events of Season 1 when he left Earth, as well as how Mark is getting along without his father being around and kind of taking the mantle as Earth's new strongest protector. Him and the, what were they called? The new Guardians of the Globe. And kind of just to give my thoughts very briefly on the first season of Invincible. I really liked it. I like the animation style. I like the studio that works on it. I like their animation, the work that they do. I think it's really well done. I also really like the voice acting work. Stephen Yeun, I think, as Mark, did an especially good job as the title character. Everyone on the show, I think, does really well with their respective roles. Sandra Oh as his mom, I think her role is really good. I think she plays that part really well as like the distraught mother trying to cope with her son and her husband having these amazing abilities and being from another planet. It looks like we're going to get to see a little bit of her in this one. We saw kind of bits of her in the trailer talking about how she didn't know who Omni-Man really was. So it looks like some of that from the first season is going to kind of play into this one. I assume they're going to probably focus a lot on like Mark's relationship with his mom. So that's something that I'd really like to see. I'd like to see the emotional effects Omni-Man's absence has on everybody. Like not just the other superheroes on the planet, but also just like on Mark and his family, and seeing how that affects him just like in his school life and his personal life. So the trailer doesn't give us a whole lot to go off of. It definitely seems like more of a teaser trailer. It looks like the release date is going to be November 3rd of this year. And I guess it's going to be released in 2 parts. So yay. I hate when shows do that. I understand why they do it from like a Hollywood perspective. I get it. It's to draw it out so they can make more money off of it and get people to tune in and watch more of it. But I don't know. I freaking hate that crap. Just give me the whole freaking season. But it looks like we're going to get 4 episodes November 3rd of this year. And then I think the other 4 or the other part 2 of the season is supposed to come out in 2024. So that's unfortunate that we're not going to get the entire season. I also really hate that it's going to be just 4 episodes. So it's basically like a 2-hour movie, and then we got to wait until the next episode comes, or the nenext season comes out. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a fan of that, but yeah, whatever. I don't get to make that decision, unfortunately. But either way, I'm still going to tune in and watch this. Actually, I really haven't been watching a whole lot on Amazon Prime ever since I got through the first season of Invincible, Vox Machina, which I freaking love that show. The second season of that show was amazing. And then, of course, the first season of Reacher, which was also freaking amazing. I thought I heard rumors there's going to be a second season for Reacher. I really hope so. But anyways, but yeah, a couple things in the trailer that stood out to me. We see glimpses of Invincible fighting the Immortal. So I really like the Immortals character from season 1. I like the little one-on-one fight that he had with Omni-Man towards the end. That was a really cool fight, even though he did kind of get his ass kicked. I really dug that. So seeing him and Mark go toe-to-toe, I'm really interested to see like kind of how Mark stacks up against him, because Mark kind of got his ass handed to him by Omni-Man in the first one. Like, he pretty much got bitch slapped all across the planet, whereas the Immortal really put up a pretty good fight against him. So I was always kind of curious about that, like where those two stack up, like the Immortal and Invincible, like where they stack up against each other. Because I think it's clear at this point, neither one of them can go toe-to-toe with Nolan. So I don't know if maybe like the two of them would have to work together to take him down, or how that's going to play out. I mean, I know when Omni-Man doesn't come back for a while. I know he's probably not going to come back in this season. I would assume that if we see any of him, it's going to be him like in space doing other stuff. So I don't think, at least as far as I'm aware, my understanding is he doesn't come back to Earth for a long time. So, and I do kind of know a little bit of what happens in terms of like future villains that show up in the series. Again, just based on my very brief research of the comics. So I kind of know what, I'll put it this way, because I don't want to spoil it for anyone out there who may not know. I know of a certain baddie that shows up later in the series who has a lot to do with Viltrum. I'm just going to kind of leave it at that. Or I guess I should say a couple baddies, but I'm talking about one big baddie in particular. So, but yeah, we don't get, like I said, we don't get a whole lot in this trailer other than like who's going to be in it. It looks like that scientist guy, I can't remember his name, the bald guy who does like, he makes like earthquakes or something from the first season. It looks like he's going to have a bigger role in this one. We saw him fighting against Omni-Man. I wish I could remember what his name was. I kind of feel like they left it open-ended as to whether or not he died in the first season. So it's cool to see him coming back. One thing I would like to see in this season, which it looks like we might be getting some of that, is seeing more of like the day-to-day life of Invincible as a superhero, like seeing him kind of come into his own, almost kind of like a Spider-Man or Superman type hero, where like he kind of gets his own villains, his own arch nemesis, which we kind of got a little bit of that in the first season as we saw Mark kind of spreading his wings and learning how to use his abilities, but it always felt like he was kind of overshadowed by Omni-Man. So in this one, I think it's going to be interesting to see how he does when his dad's not around to kind of back him up and save his ass when he needs him. But yeah, I mean, it's got me interested. It's definitely got me hyped for the new season for sure. And just the huge cast list that's going to be in it. I mean, I almost lost count of like how many actors are going to be in there. Like I saw Ben Schwartz is one of them. You actually hear his voice in the trailer. I freaking love Ben Schwartz. I can't wait to see him. Of course, I mentioned Peter Cullen is going to be in this as well. I thought I saw Mark Hamill was returning as Art, the Art Rosenbaum, I think was his name, the guy that made the costumes for them. I think he's returning as well, although I didn't hear his voice in the trailer at all. But yeah, I mean, we saw other characters from the first season too. Adam Eve, of course, is returning in this one. I love Adam Eve. I know she's got a new special, I think, on Prime right now. I have not watched that yet. I need to. But beyond that, I didn't see a whole lot of other characters other than just like the actors that are portraying them. So this kind of seemed more like they were just sort of, I guess, almost like confirming for fans, like, yes, it's happening after what, like 2 years or something. It feels like it's been forever since season 1. It almost feels like they were kind of confirming for fans, like, yes, this is happening. It's really coming out. Here's footage. You know, it's not just reused footage from season 1. This is brand new footage for season 2. So, you know, yeah, I mean, obviously I'll tune in and I'll definitely give my thoughts on it when it releases right now. It's kind of hard to give too much of an impression on it just because like I said, I didn't feel like we got a whole lot from this, like just little snippets here and there, but I don't think they really gave enough as far as like, other than kind of hinting that there might be some kind of Viltrum civil war going on in this, or at least this could be the precursor to the Civil War. We don't get a whole lot else. So I'm going to be curious to see like where that all goes, how that all plays out. Again, I have a brief idea of what's going to happen, but as far as like all the connecting tissue between different story beats, I don't really know about that from the comics. So, yeah, I'm definitely going to make sure to tune in and check this out. I'm definitely excited for this one. And it's been killing me waiting for season 2. And now for the trailer that I was really interested in talking about. No offense towards Invincible. But that is the new trailer for the new Exorcist film, The Exorcist Believer, coming out. I think it's October 13th of this year. I'm going to double check. I had it pulled up on my phone real quick. I know it's October for sure. It is, yep, October 13th. Directed by David Gordon Green, who is the same person who brought us the new Halloween trilogy, 2018 through Halloween Ends. That already kind of has me nervous about this. I loved Halloween 2018. I was not a fan of kills, and I was also not a fan of ends. I thought they should have just ended it with the 2018 film. The trilogy felt completely unnecessary to me. And my understanding is, I believe this new Exorcist film is unfortunately going to be the first in a new planned trilogy of Exorcist films. So, not a lot of information has been released about this. So, from what I understand on my research, it sounds like this is going to... It's supposed to be basically like what Halloween 2018 was. It is supposed to be a direct sequel to the original Exorcist film, but somehow I guess it's also supposed to... I guess the other two Exorcist films, 1 and 2, or 2 and 3, are supposed to still be canonical, even with this new trilogy. I don't know. I'm going to be honest, I am really tired of Hollywood stretching out these IPs as far as they can. Like, this does not need to be a new trilogy. That already has me so nervous about this. Like, I mean, I'll talk about the trailer a little bit and go into that, but suffice to say, this does not give me a lot of hope. I will say it is nice to see something finally concrete with this movie. The fact that I hadn't seen very much in terms of advertisement had me nervous about this. In my experience, that's generally not a good sign. It's usually because, at least my opinion is that the studio, whenever you don't see a trailer for a movie until like just a couple months before it releases, it's usually because the movie's not very good and it's not testing well. So the studio is trying to do everything they can to basically prevent it from anything leaking or not letting any screenshots or footage of it be released until as close to the release date as possible, so that way they can, make as much money as they can. So anyways, I'll talk about the trailer a little bit. So full disclosure, I've only seen this once. It is not available on YouTube. I think the studio that's doing it is at Universal Pictures. I think it's Universal Pictures. Let me double check real quick. But my understanding is they are not releasing it on any streaming platform like YouTube or anything like that. It is Universal. So it's not available on YouTube. I can't find it anywhere, and I've tried to find it so I could watch it a couple times. Right now, as far as I'm aware, the only way to view it is during the movie Oppenheimer. I did see Oppenheimer this past weekend. Me and a buddy went to go see it, and I will be giving my review for that. That's probably going to be the next episode or maybe the episode afterwards. I just need to kind of take some time and put that one together, because that's a big movie. That's a whole other episode. But anyways, this trailer played before that, and I did not know this trailer was going to happen. To be honest, I was kind of giving up hope on this movie because it's supposed to come out in October, and we're already in July. We're only about 3-4 months away, and I hadn't seen shit for this movie. So I was kind of convinced at this point that this was not going to happen. But no, here we go. We got a trailer for it. We have a release date. This is official. So in the trailer, again, I think it's more of a teaser trailer. We don't get a whole lot, but it looks like in this movie, there are actually 2 girls who are possessed by a demon. The story appears to be that these 2 young girls go out, they disappear for a while, and then for like 3 days, I think is what they say in the trailer, and when they come back, they appear to be really messed up, almost like something really traumatic happened to them, but like one of them doesn't seem to really remember anything. Even in the trailer, she tells her dad, like, I've only been gone for like 3 hours, right? And so she clearly has no idea like what's been going on. Then as time goes on, they become more decrepit, much like how Linda Blair's character becomes more decrepit in the original Exorcist film. They start getting like scratches on their faces and stuff like that. There's a scene in the trailer where one of them walks into a church and starts, saying very profanic things in the middle of the service. And then we get to the big reveal in the trailer. Ellen Burstyn from the original movie, Reagan's mom, shows up, and I think she's looking old. Of course, I think the actress, she's like 90 years old, but she shows up in this movie as sort of like the I guess she's supposed to be like a new expert on exorcisms, which I don't really quite understand how that works because she wasn't, as far as she wasn't religious in the first movie. That was a big thing about her character, was that she was not religious at all. In fact, I think she kind of abhorred religion. But I mean, I guess maybe what happened with her daughter in the first film, maybe that converted her, convinced her to become religious, and maybe she became an exorcist of some kind. I'm not sure. They kind of leave that a little bit open-ended. There's a lot of ambiguity in this trailer as far as like her character goes and like what her overall role is going to be in this. Like, it's clear in the trailer she's supposed to be the expert they go to for help, but it's not entirely clear like if she's going to be doing the exorcism or if somebody else is going to do it, if she's going to help them find an exorcist. That part's left pretty much up in the air. There's rumors Linda Blair is going to be in this movie, but she did not show up in the trailer at all, but that doesn't mean that she won't be in it later. But I think she is tagged in the movie. So as far as Ellen Burstyn being in it, I honestly cannot tell if this is supposed to be like, I can't tell if I'm excited about that, because I do like her. I think she's a great actress. But I can't tell if that's just like them trying to use her star appeal from like the first movie to try to draw in audiences to this one. In general, I'm very nervous about this movie. On the one hand, the trailer is genuinely creepy. It's got some creepy moments in it for sure. And they even do a pretty good job of making it look like the original trailer for the old movie from like the 70s, like the original Exorcist film. Like, there's shots where it looks like there's like these freeze frames that are like in black and white, and you see what almost looks like kind of like a demonic face. Again, a lot like what they did with the original trailer for the first movie. So it does feel like they are trying to go back to, or at least they're trying to make this look somewhat like the original film, which, okay, I'm on board with. But I guess I'll have to wait and see when this comes out. Right now, this trailer just kind of left me kind of, I wouldn't say underwhelmed. I don't really have any strong feelings one way or the other. It just looks kind of interesting. And The Exorcist is considered like one of the greatest horror films ever made. I've said this in my podcast, it's in my top 10 list of greatest scary movies out there. Not just because it's a genuinely creepy, messed up movie, but also because it's a good movie too. Even if you remove all of the scary stuff from the film, it's a great movie. It's well written. It's exceptionally well acted from everybody, not just like Ellen Burstyn and Max von Sydow, but even like Linda Blair, who at the time was like a teenager, who just really knocks it out of the park with her just haunting, in every sense of the word, performance. I mean, the two girls in this trailer, they do seem creepy. I do like that whole aspect of it, like where there's two of them. So it's like there's two possessions going on side by side. That's kind of interesting. I don't know if there's been a possession movie that's done that in the past. There may have been. I'm going to be honest, I don't follow these possession type movies very much. Like, there's so many of them. I think the last one I watched was like The Exorcism of Emily Rose, which was a genuinely good movie, and it had some pretty good, it was a good courtroom drama as well. It's actually one of my favorite horror films. I really like it. But beyond that, I haven't really watched too many other exorcism type movies in a long time. I have seen the Exorcist prequels with what's his name, Stellan Skarsgård, Exorcist: The Beginning or whatever, and those are okay. They're not particularly great. They're very forgettable. But yeah, like the whole thing with the two girls being possessed, that's interesting. There's a creepy scene in the film or in the trailer where they say like their heartbeats are like in unison, and that part's really creepy. So that's an interesting angle. I kind of like how they're doing that. They have like these two completely different people possessed. I'm not sure if the implication is they're possessed by two different demons or if it's the same demon or something. They also they don't give a whole lot in terms of like the demon itself, like if it's the same one from the original film or if it's supposed to be a new one. So that's something that I'm interested to find out more about. Again, I think this was more of a teaser trailer. I'm sure as time goes on, as we get closer to October, we'll probably get more subsequent trailers with more detail. We're just not really given a whole lot in this to go off of. But right now, I mean, yeah, the two big things for me that stuck out were the two girls being possessed, Ellen Burstyn. You do hear that iconic Exorcist music from the first movie. Once they started playing that, immediately I knew what it was because it's so recognizable. But the thing is, and this is what has me nervous about this movie, before they play that music, I really just thought this was going to be another just typical exorcism type film. I really think after watching this teaser trailer, and again, I don't want to judge it too harshly based on that, but nothing about this really stuck out to me. This really didn't seem like anything, except for Ellen Burstyn and that score. Nothing about this really seemed related to the original Exorcist film. Ellen just seemed to be the only thing that was really tying the two together. So that kind of has me nervous about this. And again, like I said, from the fact that it's from David Gordon Green, he did not stick the landing with Halloween Ends, in my opinion. I was not a fan of that movie. I'm very apprehensive about this. The Exorcist, to me, is one of the best horror films ever made. It's one of my personal favorites, and I don't want to see them screw this up, but I just have a bad feeling they're going to. I just wish Hollywood would stop making these trilogies. Like, make this one movie. If it does exceptionally well, I don't know, maybe go from there, but I just really think this should just be one film. Like, Halloween 2018 should have just ended right there, but they had to keep going, and then they just totally fucked it up. And I think they're going to do it with this one too. I just feel like I have this feeling in the pit of my stomach they're going to fuck this up. Even if this movie is good, which the trailer does not give me much hope, I just feel like they're going to totally screw it up somehow. I don't know. I don't have a lot of faith in them getting this done correctly. Yeah. And also, what was it? I had another point about that I was going to make. I can't remember what it was, but yeah, anyways, I mean, like I said, I'm definitely going to check this out when it releases in October. This might be kind of like, I always like to do like scary movie reviews in October, so maybe this will be like one of the scary movies that I review for that time and kind of give my thoughts on it. But yeah, I mean, as of right now, I would just say I'm interested, but I am not excited about this film. But I guess time will tell on that one. But what did you guys think? I'm kind of curious to hear your thoughts on the film. Did you guys think, or the trailer, did you guys think it was interesting, or are you kind of in the same boat as me? Does this kind of have you nervous and not very confident in the future of the Exorcist films? Please feel free to let me know on my YouTube channel. All right, everyone, I think that's going to conclude this episode. Once again, I'm on Anchor, Spotify, and YouTube. If you like what you heard, please feel free to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll catch you all next time. Later.